Well, Dave, thank you for having the conversation with me today. I heard you speak on stage with JT Fox from his event, A Mega Success in California, and I was super drawn to your background in the government and the work that you've been doing. And just wanted to ask you a couple questions about that. First of all, what is something that every American can or should be doing to help promote America's success in the future?
Well, first, we're a great country. We're clearly a superpower with global economic, diplomatic, military capabilities and cultural influence, but we've lost control of our finances.
Mm.
And if we don't put our finances in order, we're going to lose economic power, and it's going to end up having an adverse impact on those other things. So, young people in particular need to understand that at present, policymakers are mortgaging their future at record rates, increasing debt that they'll have to deal with and cutting investments. And so young people need to be much more informed and involved in trying to pressure elected officials to start making tough choices on spending, regulatory policy, revenues, et cetera, so that we can maintain economic growth, maintain opportunity, maintain our strength in all those dimensions, and so that our future will be better than our past. Because right now they're mortgaging it, and that is irresponsible, unethical, immoral, and it needs to stop.
Thank you. I feel like, especially the younger generation, it's very easy to fall into debt.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
where do you think that stems from?
Well, our society kind of likes to live for today. I mean, teenagers are looking at the weekend, right? Politicians are looking at the next election. Sports figures are looking at the next game or the next season, depending upon whether they're still competitive or not, right? And so part of the problem is that we can't just live for today. We have to take steps to help create a better tomorrow. And
Mm.
one of the things that we've lost, especially our elected officials, we've lost the concept of stewardship. And what stewardship is as a leader, you don't just generate positive results today. You don't just leave things better off when you leave than when you came. You leave things better positioned for the future. All right. And that's where we're falling down. All right. And we need to take a number of steps to try to be able to address serious challenges that we have that people have continued to kick the can down the road.
Mm. Right, like passing it off to the next generation.
And that includes, I mean, thank you for your service, but that includes in the area of defense. I mean, I'm on the Defense Business Board. We need to fundamentally rethink what we're doing, how we're doing it, where we're doing it. Okay, from the standpoint of footprint, force structure, platforms, a lot of different things to make sure that we're better aligned and that it's sustainable going forward.
Yeah, absolutely agree. With all of your experience working in the government, what was the most challenging role that you've had, and what was something that you did to overcome some of that adversity that you faced in that role?
Well, I dramatically changed the Government Accountability Office, okay? And what we did there is transferable and scalable throughout government with the right kind of leadership and persistence. I made it about 15% smaller. I eliminated a third of the offices, eliminated a layer of management, consolidated 35 units to 13, leveraged technology, changed human capital practices. And the bottom line is, did a lot of other things, but the bottom line is, we were smaller, but we were much more productive, generated over $110 return for every dollar invested in the agency, 95% positive rating with our client, the Congress, which is a tough client, and second best place to work in the federal government. So what we did there is transferable and scalable, and hopefully Doge will realize that and be able to take some of those principles and incorporate it into its recommendations. The other controversial thing that I did was sue the Vice President of the United States for failure to cooperate with the GAO in connection with energy policy. We won in the court of public opinion and never had a problem again. We didn't win at the first level of the courts, but later on got the law changed. So he won the battle, we won the war, and we're in better shape.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. So, something that I love to do is give other people a space to share their stories of overcoming adversity. Specifically, I focus a lot on faith and how that has helped people in their journey. I'm curious, what does faith mean to you and how has that influenced you in your life?
I am a practicing Roman Catholic. My faith is very important to me. I converted from being a Methodist to a Catholic. And when I converted, I talked to the Monsignor and I told him that I'd been to Mass every Sunday and every holy day for 25 years except for 5. He said he's going to put me on the fast track since I was better than most Catholics. But, it's very important to me. As I said, here's the way I look at decision making. The floor of acceptable behavior is the law. Above that is ethics, and above that is morality. Don't crawl on the floor, reach for the ceiling. Don't just do what's legal, do what's ethical, do what's morally right. And, my faith in God and Jesus, obviously, the Son, is very important to me, but it's in that pyramid of decision making, which I think everybody ought to consider, no matter where they are, no matter what their faith is. I think it's an important metric for decision making.
I love how you phrase that, just like how it's part of the metric. I think it's super easy to think black and white, like it's either this way or that, but everything
Most of life is gray. It's a matter of what color gray it is, right?
True. Yeah.
It really is. It's really true. Yeah.
Well, I'm also curious if your 10-year-old self could see you today, what do you think that they would say?
Well, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be career military and I wanted to go to the Naval Academy and be a Marine Corps pilot. I did get appointments to the military academies, but I couldn't go because I have a bad left ear. And so I became a general anyway. I was Comptroller General of the United States. There's only been 8 in the history of the country. And believe me, people are a lot more fearful of Comptroller Generals than they are people with stars and stripes on. I can tell you that right now. So,
Yeah.
I think I have been very, very fortunate. I've been very successful and I've achieved levels of responsibility and authority that I never would have envisioned when I was 10 years old, only in America, right? I mean, and my view is if you got a good education, you're a hard worker, you have solid moral values, you have a positive attitude, you have unlimited potential in America. And the question is whether or not you capitalize on it or not.
Some people don't realize how blessed they are, and so they really open their eyes to everything around them.
And I think the other thing is, Jess, is I've had the good fortune of going to every continent, every state, 100 countries, and you don't know how good or bad you have it until you have something to compare it to.
Yeah, I think that's why being active in your life and engaging with life is so important because it gives you that experience that you need. I just want to thank you again for your time. And if there's anything else that you wanted to share, any advice?
Well, the only thing I would say is thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I
I
appreciate it very
appreciate
much.
that support.
Thank you. Take care.
Dave,
Be good.
thank you. Bye.